Hello, Cancer, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. This will be your weekly reading for the week of November 2nd through the 8th. And during that time, we have a waxing gibbous into the full moon and then a waning gibbous. So, of course, that full moon energy is kind of the star of our moon show this week. And that comes in around the 5th or the 6th. I find that energy can last for 3 and maybe sometimes 4 days. So keep that in mind. That full moon energy is about heightened emotions, time when some of us can feel overwhelmed or anxious, maybe snappy and irritable. Sometimes there's change in your sleeping patterns, but if it's an anxious time for you, it's a time for us to practice patience and calm. It's definitely a good time for any and all of us to release resentment or fear. Now, also, some people just have heightened energy. That's the way I handle the full moon. It just comes in as just a lot of energy, and I get a lot done during that time. So if that's you, go ahead and take advantage of that as well. So all right, let's get into this reading here. This will be an intuitive general reading, Cancer. So these for energies that you may or may not encounter. As always, please take what resonates, leave what doesn't on the table for someone else. And your overall message for this reading: have faith in your dreams. All right, let's see what the Cancer Collective has going on this week. Having faith in your dreams. As I'm shuffling, my fun weekly reminder this week, Cancer, is that you notice the world around you when it comes to synchronicity. So this could be anything from numbers, number patterns, animals that you encounter. It could be a conversation that you overhear that you're not even a part of, or maybe a song. A lot of times I get messages. I'll be flipping around on the radio as I'm driving, and how you just kind of hear a snippet of someone talking, or even a song lyric, and I'll think, oh, that's relevant to a thing that I'm going through right now. So that's kind of how I use those synchronicities. And if it's not something that you look for, that's just my fun, friendly reminders that you really try to pay attention and try to find those in your own life this week. Those are the universe's way of offering you little breadcrumbs on your unique path. And it's good things, to help you and kind of give you messages and guide you. So that is just my fun reminder for the week. All right, Cancer, let's get into this reading November 2nd through the 8th. Have faith in your dreams. Your overall present energy right now is the Emperor. So look at you. This is a card of leadership, a card of building. This is someone who gets crap done. I like to say someone who very established. It's our four. It's our card of just like the ultimate stability. If you don't know about like numerology, four is just it's a number of stability. And I think about it like um if you have a table and it had three legs, not very stable, but you add that fourth leg and it's just the most stable thing. So that's where our fours come in, and they're about stability, and the Emperor is definitely the most stable card in the deck for sure. So that's your current energy, is just feeling very stable and very able to get things done and to build something, which is awesome if you have a dream of doing that. Your current situation right now is that you're moving towards the future with kind of new thoughts and ideas here with the six. We've got these swords in front of us. This water here is very calm. There's nothing too exciting going on in this picture, just kind of traveling towards the future, but heading towards these new thoughts, these new ideas. So that's great energy there also. At the root of your situation this week is the Three of Cups, so a little bit of celebration. So you might have had some sort of achievement, something that this Emperor, this something you are building, um, that you've had some sort of achievement that you're celebrating right now, which is really awesome. Go ahead and take that time to celebrate your hard work and the things that you've been doing. It looks like you've had some sort of success, and now you're going to be moving towards the future, taking that success with you and just expanding on it, which is great. In your recent past is the Star card. So you have gotten to this point because you there was a direction and a momentum. There was some sort of guidance, but this means that you have been completely on course. This is a card of prosperity and and just things coming to fruition. This is being very optimistic. But it's also a card of clarity, and like I said, about knowing the direction that you're going in, and that is in your recent past. So it means like means that you're kind of on the right path in that way, and having success in whatever it is that you do dream about. Some dream that you're it's like you're chipping away at it and you're having some success, which is awesome. What's on your mind this week is the world card, which is just great too. I mean, you're just in such a good place right now. This is the card of perfect balance. You know, the world is the end of the fool's journey in the major arcana. And it just means things are in balance, things are going very well. You know, like your life is in harmony. You know, you have fulfillment coming in. So I can see why you're celebrating. I would be too. You've just really got some great energy going on right here. I don't know why I can't keep these cards straight. There we go. That's a great energy there with that world card. It's just one of the happiest, you know, most fulfilling cards in the entire deck. It just means it's almost like you've arrived. And again, you're moving forward in the future with those thoughts and taking that success with you to build upon it. What is just ahead of you is the 10 of swords. So there's something here, there's some sort of ending that you're going to be coming to as well. And this could be just a phase. You know, I feel like you know, I was just talking to one of the other signs, which one was it? It might have been Taurus, that there's phases in our life, and actually Cancer as well, in both of those readings. You know, we all go through these different phases in our life. And like I said, this is kind of the world card is kind of the end of the fool's journey, which to me means that you're kind of approaching an ending, but it's not like a bad ending. It's almost like just a phase shift. And I feel like this might be a collective thing now, since I'm starting to get this feeling from some of the other readings that it is just, it's like you're entering into a new phase. And I had used the example before with another reading, is like, you know, you go to high school and that's a phase. You enter, if you go into continuing education or you get a job, that's like the new phase of your early part of your life. You know, then you might settle down and get married, and you might have a family. I mean, there's just kind of a phase and a rhythm to life as we go through, you know, our different ages, all the way up until, you know, you get to the point where you're retiring and you're having grandchildren. And it's each phase just brings new challenges and new awesome things that come with them too. But it's those dreams that are, that's kind of the one thread throughout your life. You know, it's hard to, you're trying to think of your future in that way, like what's it going to be like when I'm a grandparent. You really can't know that until it happens. But you know, we all have those kind of dreams of what the next phase might be like. So I feel like you're kind of moving, you're doing that, you're moving towards the future in a very positive way, getting things done, and you're kind of coming to the end of this thing, but you're, it's kind of like a phase shift for you, moving into the next phase. All right, that's enough of myself babbling about that. Let's see. In your advice position, Cancer, is the Temperance card. Wow. So this is a card about being inspired. You know, this is, again, this is fulfillment. This is definitely being very centered. This is a card of just, you know, just being so balanced and centered. And your advice is just to hold on to that. You're going to move through this phase. And I think you're going to do it beautifully, whatever it is for you. You know, I'm sure different people of different ages listen to these readings. And, you know, wherever the phase that you're in, and you're going to gracefully move through into the next phase, which I think is really beautiful. But have faith in your dreams, because as long as you're keeping those thoughts in mind and you're manifesting those things, you know, they will come to fruition. Just keep things in the forefront of your mind, right? What is beyond your control this week is the Knight of Swords. Oh, so this knight comes in, offers a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of messaging. This might be something this week that comes in to just kind of disrupt. You know, this has been pretty calm throughout so far. This is probably your wild card, right? Something is beyond your control, and you're either going to think it and have a new thought about it this week, or it's going to come to you. I mean, this is a card of action. So it's like you have a thought and you do a thing, maybe a little, what's the word I'm looking for? Impulsive. Maybe you're, you know, you act on an impulse this week, or there's some thought that come, or some message that comes into you that seems maybe impulsive by someone else. But so watch out for that. That is something that's beyond your control this week, is this little impulse that's going to happen. What is your secret desire, or what you're trying to avoid, is the Knight of Cups. So This is your big question of the week. Is it your secret desire to move forward with this, this cup full of emotion, and very gently move forward and not spill any of it anywhere, and maybe offer this cup to someone? Or are you trying to avoid that? Because that'll be your big question this week, and it has to do with your heart and your emotions and who you're going to give that to and what you're going to give that to. So that'll be your big question. Is that your secret desire, or are you trying to avoid that when it comes to your emotions, and kind of showing yourself or opening up a little bit? In your outcome position is the Hermit card. So maybe by the end of the week, all of this activity, all of this moving forward, maybe hanging out with your friends, trying to stay balanced, and this impulse has you at the end of the week, I feel like, just like, you know what? I'm going to stay in. I'm not going out tonight. Everybody go have a good time. I'm going to stay in. I'm going to read a book. But this is also inner seeking. This is you going within, quieting yourself, quieting your mind, your body, and just kind of relaxing. And maybe you're thinking about what is the next step. You're moving through this phase, but I feel like you're doing fine. You've really touched on, you've had some celebration here. You're following your intuition. You're having all these thoughts. You've dealt with something a little impulsive. I mean, I'd probably slip into hermit mode at the end of this week as well. So I don't blame you, Cancer. What is hidden from you this week is the Chariot card. So Chariot card is about making a move or getting ready to make a move. And I don't think you're quite there yet. I wouldn't be surprised to see, in fact, next week, with all of this going on, I wouldn't be surprised to maybe see the Chariot, which is about, getting ready to make a move, and maybe even the Fool pop out, or the Magician in your next week's reading. Because I feel like you're just kind of in kind of a transition here, and again, trying to moving through the next phase. What is the next phase? And you're doing quite a bit of thinking about it this week, but again, by the end of the week, it's going to zap you. You're going to want to just kind of rest and relax, do a little meditation. Could be that energy of the full moon causes some sort of impulsivity there. And I do feel like just by the end of the week, you're kind of exhausted, but have faith in your dreams. You are moving forward, and not everything happens in a week, right? All right, let's get a final message here from the Soul Oracle deck. Final message for Cancer as they go through this phase: make necessary sacrifices. So, and I feel like that's what this 10 is about. It's about something ending. And again, it's not super negative. It's just moving through to that next phase. Again, I felt that with definitely with Taurus. If you have a Taurus in your life, you may want to look at their reading if you're a cross watcher. So I feel like they were kind of in the same transitional phase. All right, what does Cancer need to do in the way of self-care this week? Self-care for Cancer. And the card you get is the card that says reassess. You have the right to change your mind. Interesting with this impulsive card right here. What is this impulse? Again, it's beyond your control this week for you to act impulsive about something. But do keep in mind that if you are impulsive in not the best way, you do have the right to change your mind. Keep that in mind. You may need to use that information. So, Cancer, thank you so much for being here. I hope there was something in this reading that you can take away and use in your life. If you're comfortable sharing, of course, drop me a comment down below. Let me know, did you end up in hermit mode by the end of the week? Are you building something, and you've got to let something go? You're just entering into a new phase. That you've had some success in moving on. I'd be real curious to hear what that might be for you if you're comfortable sharing. Also, if you like my reading style, please hit the like and subscribe button. It really helps my channel, which I appreciate so much. But more importantly, Cancer, it'll help you find me next week, where you can come back and we can see where the story goes, or see if there's a completely new energy here for you. So thanks so much, Cancer. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.